Welcome back to the high school game night halftime show. I'm Catherine Clark. Section play kicked off last week with all kinds of upsets and amazing games, and players are stepping up their game now that the wins and losses count even more as we head deeper into the section races. So let's bring in our high school football correspondent Jeff Reinhart of PennLive.com to help us look closer at some more talented football players making huge impacts on their squads. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Catherine. Good to be back.
All right, Jeff, well, Ephrata may be 0-4, but last week they put up 42 points, and a big part of that production all season long has been Dakota Kiefer. Tell our viewers what he has meant to the Ephrata Mounts.
He's meant a lot to the Ephrata Mounts, and they've needed him, quite frankly. Don't forget Blake Weaver and Jeremy Cockle, who are expected to be two of their playmaker kids coming into the season. Both got hurt early on in the preseason. Those guys have been out, so the team's really leaned on Dakota here to make some plays. Athletic kid, one of the best lacrosse players in the league. Having a good season here with the ball. As mentioned, they fall to Lebanon 44-42, crazy, to drop to 0-4, but a big game for Dakota. He rushed for 148 yards. He's been their leading rusher here through the first 4 weeks, 326 yards, couple of touchdowns. He returned a kick 89 yards for a touchdown earlier this season. So he's been a bright spot for Ephrata, which is still looking to get in the W column here. Here's where they've struggled. They're averaging just 212 yards a game on offense. That's 4th from the bottom in the league. Defense is getting nicked for about 375 yards a game. That's 5th from the bottom in the league. One of the few positive numbers I could find for Ephrata, they only have 15 penalties. That's least in the LL League, so yay for that. But they're trying to pick up the pace in the big numbers. Mr. Kiefer's been good. He's putting up some yards for them and making plays, scoring touchdowns. And they've needed him, and he has come through.
On to another Section 2 team that is just on fire, Cocalico. Their offense clicking on all cylinders, and going mostly overlooked are the guys on the offensive line. So give them some love here, Jeff.
Gladly. Cocalico, wow, 1,440 rushing yards in 4 weeks. I don't know the number off the top of my head. They have something like 12 or 14 kids who have touches already out of the backfield. They've been awesome, and that has everything to do with their offensive line. Let's drop some names here. Centers Mitch Nauman, left side tackle Shane Reif, left guard Brady Maxwell. Right side is where they were experienced coming back this year. Tackle Zach Eberly, guard John Fry. Those guys have some experiences there along the line. Tight ends, Casey Kirshner, who's one of the best in the league. He can block and catch at tight end, along with Alex Buckwalder. Coach Dave Gingrich, who loves talking about the line guys, loves to tip his cap to those guys. Also mentioned Denny Boyer and Frank Ackerman, who have come in to provide some depth. So those guys have been great. As mentioned, over 1,400 rushing yards already. Cocalico with the number 3 ranked offense in the league. It'd probably be higher, but they don't throw the ball. Jet Janis has been great, running. They don't need to go up top much. They've been great, and they're on that collision course next week for Manheim Central.
All right, definitely some notable players there. And finally, the Eagles' main rival in Section 2, Manheim Central. The Barons' offense just as potent as Cocalico. And they too have some big guys up front on the offense. So let's share the love now with the Barons.
Sure. Talking big uglies this week. Manheim Central right behind Cocalico in rushing. Only 2 teams in the league have over 1,000 yards rushing here through the first 4 weeks. Manheim Central's at 1,300 plus yards. Ian Hanselman and Mark Royer have been a great 1-2 punch. We talked about Royer last week. He leads the league in rushing, just a tick under 600. Let's talk about the guys in the trenches. Nate Brandt at center. He's been steady. Left side, Jay Swain at tackle and Chad Zunich at guard. Right side, Hugh Montgomery at tackle and Michael Brown at guard. Those guys have been great. Austin Pace and Jared Green have stepped in to provide some depth along the line. Dave Hahn, terrific O-line coach from Mannheim. Don't forget he runs the Road Grader Challenge every summer. So he's big into the O-line guys, and those guys have been great. Number 2 ranked offense in the league, Manheim Central. They're also the number 1 ranked defense in the league. Central, Cocalico, both 4-0. They play next week. Don't forget, circle it. Can't wait for that one.
All right, thanks, Jeff. As always, lots of great insight this week. We'll see you again next Friday.
Okay, see you next week.
And don't forget to check out Jeff's work at PennLive.com for all the latest on high school athletes throughout the LL League. Coming up next Friday on BRC 11's featured game, we have the showdown of the century. Mannheim Central travels to Cocalico for the grudge match of all grudge matches. This one is most likely for the Section 2 title. You don't want to miss it, and we'll have it live right here on BRC 11 in HD. Our coverage begins next Friday at 7 o'clock. Well, that'll do it for the halftime show. Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, High School Game Night's post-game show airs tonight at 10:30 with Chad Landers and Brian Cast. But for now, we'll send you back to Grosh Field for second half action between Mannheim Township and Warwick. Enjoy.